Neighbourhood policy is the overarching policy which covers our relations with the eastern partners and the southern partners. As far as I'm concerned, the Eastern Partnership gives us the policy framework for some of the specific bilateral and multilateral activities that we do with the Eastern partners. It's academic to say whether they're different or whether one is part of the other, because we have to use both tools. For example, the neighbourhood policy is the legal framework for the progress reports which we conduct every year with all of the countries, including Georgia. The Eastern Partnership is the framework for the association agreement and the DCFTA negotiations, for the visa liberalisation. The neighbourhood policy is a framework for money, for the financial assistance, but the political priorities come from the Eastern Partnership. I
framework
think
for money. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, how could I describe
for
this?
Political framework for political dialogue, let's say.
The Eastern Partnership tells us, what it is that we want to achieve in the sort of short to medium term in our relations with Georgia and with the other Eastern partners, which is political association, economic integration, mobility, and so on. The neighbourhood policy is the framework for all of the financial assistance that we have and for the progress reports, and so on. So.
Okay. So it complement each other, maybe.
Yeah, I suppose it's like a healthy diet and a good doctor. You need a healthy diet to stay well, but you also sometimes need to go to the doctor. But these are both positive. Maybe that's not a very good comparison. In the neighbourhood policy, from the perspective of the geographical desk, the most important tools are the action plan and the progress report. And I suppose the third one is the ENPI, the financial assistance which comes under that. There are other things about ENP which are important, but which you would already have discussed with Cremonini, because he deals with the whole of the ENP. The action plan, obviously, at the moment, is the vehicle by which we measure Georgia's progress in implementing key reforms and in moving closer towards European values and European norms. The progress report is the vehicle for this, and what's particularly important about the progress report is that we have input from civil society organisations as well as from Georgia itself and from our own delegation. We will soon hope to replace the action plan with an association agenda, which is a different type of instrument which I'm working on at the moment. Actually, I brought one with me, but by chance. So I mean, it's not a question of whether ENP is good or bad. It's a question of the fact that ENP gives us these tools to work with. ENP as financial assistance is extremely important to us, because obviously it's the way that we try to support the key reforms in Georgia and support the most important institutions. The focus there will not change exactly, but the focus there will move more strongly in the direction of those institutions which have to deliver the association agreement and the DCFTA.
So you're going to strengthen to direct money mostly to the institutions in future implementing the association.
Yes,
execution.
This is something which has to be owned also by Georgia. So we're about to embark on this exercise of missions, where our colleague Pierre will travel to Tbilisi and he will discuss with the new administration
association and the CFT.
And that means not just what we will cooperate on, but long and detailed lists of what we call the acquis, EU regulations and directives, which Georgia will approximate to with specific schedules of approximation. That's all done. DCFTA, which is part of the agreement, but a much more complicated and very long document covering every aspect of trade, from trading goods, services, labour aspects, competition, and so on. We have had, I'm not sure how many rounds now, 5 or 6. 4 or 5, don't know, but we've made very good progress, given that we only started DCFTA Georgia in the summer, very recently. We still believe it's realistic that DCFTA Georgia could be negotiated in time for the Vilnius Eastern Partnership Summit in the autumn of 2013, which is a very ambitious timescale, but we think a realistic one, and we know the government is committed to that.
the summit.
Yes.
The CFTA.
That doesn't mean we're going to sign it at the summit,
Yeah.
because signing is different, but we could say chief negotiators agree no more negotiation needed. And the next step after that would be initially.
Can be finished by that. Huh?
Yeah, and the next step after that is when they initial, and that means they agree on the text. Signing is a political step which takes time to prepare because it involves all of the member states and translation and things like this.
The action plan should be renewed for this. It was prolonged.
At the moment, the action plan is, as far as we're concerned, staying in force. Will be prolonged until the association agenda is ready, because we can't have nothing as our source of judgment criteria.
Yeah.